Hi warriors, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sammy and today we're going to talk about immigration and mental health. Now, I'm a first generation immigrant. I came here in 2005 to do my master's degree and I fell in love with Canada. I applied for a permanent residence and eventually became a Canadian citizen. I know a lot of you are out there looking for a similar kind of journey, and I wanted to do a video just to talk to you about how best to navigate this journey, this cultural landmine that you're going to have to sidestep to protect your mental health, to conquer and actually be the best you can be in the Canadian economy, and to fulfill your potential as a person, as a professional, and even raise your family here. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk to you about is, once you land here as a student, whether you're on a student visa, a working visa, or as a permanent resident, the culture shock is going to hit you. Depending on where you are, there are some cultures on the other side of the world, like mine, that are so radically different that when you come here, it's going to hit you in the face. It's going to be so different that you're going to struggle to adapt. You might be strong enough to keep a straight face through it, but at the end of the day, you're going to feel like it's night and day. And this is where your adaptability will come in. You have to be adaptable. You have to accept the fact that you're in a completely different country, which has its own culture, its own norms, and the onus is on you to adopt it and adapt to it. So when you come here and you feel this culture shock, just remember, it's okay to be where you are. You don't have to figure everything out in one day, right? So give yourself time, but at the same time, do what I did. I was a learning machine. I was a sponge. When I came here, I made so many different, weird mistakes, social mistakes, cultural mistakes. And looking back, like some of them are completely justified. I come from a totally different culture. So you will find people here who won't understand you. And they might even make fun of you for, making those social errors. This is where you need to be more assertive. Don't let them get to you. When you come here, it's going to be hard enough. You might be depressed just from leaving your country. You might be depressed just from leaving your loved ones behind. You might be depressed because you're in unfamiliar territory. You don't know where to go, what to do, how to live your life. You might be depressed because you're an engineer or an architect or a lawyer or a doctor who's going to show up here and work as a janitor or as in Tim Hortons or in some kind of odd job, pizza delivery to pay the bills. You might have to drive Uber, which is way more common than you think because new immigrants come here and they have a dream. And I love that dream. I came with that dream. I adopted that dream and I pursued that dream. I realized that dream. And so can you. But you have to take it one day at a time. You have to take it in a way that's good for your mental health. If you stress yourself out over how far you are from where you want to be and where you are today, it can really mess with your mental health. It can give you chronic depression, and that won't help you in the long run. I'm doing this video because I don't want you to make the same mistakes I made. There was nobody to talk to me about this stuff, how it will affect my long-term mental health, and in turn, how it would affect my ability to fulfill my potential as a business professional, right? So this is where I want you to take, not notes, but I want you to really listen and understand that once you come here, everything is different. Accept that, right? And then be strategic. Work on integrating into this culture. Work on understanding, forgiving those who don't understand you, and working on improving yourself, adapting. Take the best from this culture, adopt it as your own. That's what cultural freedom feels like, no? You come from your own culture, you keep the best of your own culture, you get the best of this culture, you make a unique culture. And that, when you follow your heart and do what feels right culturally, you're going to be less depressed. it'll still be hard because, most of the immigrants who come here are really qualified. They're educated, they're qualified, they were had good jobs back home, they were established. But now you have to do it all over again. And yeah, it's not easy. No matter how many different ways you put it, the reality of immigrant life in Canada is that it's not easy. Not for first generation immigrants. Your children will benefit from your sacrifice, but you will have to do the hard work. And that includes constantly learning. See how other people talk, see how they interact, see how they suck up at the office, see how they move the needle, see how they work through their problems, see how they socially integrate, and sponge all that information in and keep applying, keep practicing to get better. Take it as a long, long life lesson. That's what I did. And honestly, when I look back on my life, this is why I feel like, I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed with my journey, is because, don't get me wrong, I had tremendous stress. I was depressed for a long time. I had anxiety, and I never felt the corporate life really helped me actualize my potential. And it always depressed me knowing that I'm not doing as good as I should, that I'm not being my best. It really killed me inside, But at the same time, this is where I feel so fulfilled because I put myself out there and I did things that not many people in my culture does. I'll give you a simple example. Going on vacations to Mexico, to Cuba, to Dominican, most of the folks who come from my country usually go back home for their vacation. Those 2 precious weeks that they have every year, they use it to go back home. Now that's great, but is it necessarily the best for your mental health? What about your vacation? What about your relaxation? What about you saving some money and investing on giving your children a good experience, a memorable experience? What about you showing up to a vacation and not doing anything at all? Just eating, just enjoying. Feel the breeze at the ocean, see the sand, see the ocean, and just enjoy yourself. Just relax. How about that? And you know what? Unlike other people who came from my country, I did that twice a year, every year. And that's what recharged me. That's what made everything else okay. I saved up for it and it's been so worthwhile. I've been very lucky to travel quite a bit. And honestly, it's one of the best things in my life. But that was just one example. I've done all the things that usually people in my culture are not engaged in. I don't have a single family member, a single relative who goes to the gym. And I've been going for over 10 years. I've stayed fit and now I'm 42 and I feel better than ever. That's the thing about adopting this culture, to do things that you love, but at the same time, you integrate by putting yourself out there and doing what's culturally the norm here, and you get to grow from it, you get to improve from it, you get to integrate into the culture from it, and that will reduce your depression, that will reduce your anxiety. All right, what else? Here's what I propose. You, before you even come here as a Canadian immigrant, or before you come here with a student visa, or a worker visa, just remember, you have to mentally and physically prepare. So what that means is, the mental preparation is you accepting that you're not going to start off with a great job here, that you will have to hustle, that you will have to work harder than you've ever worked before. You will not have drivers and maids taking care of the house and driving you around. You're going to have to do everything yourself. You're going to have to maybe even do 2 jobs. You're going to have to work full time and then go to school. You're going to be so exhausted that you're going to be essentially cranky all the time, but this is the hustle. People do that because there's a reason why you came here, right? Whether it's more safety, more civilized way of living, better for your children. Remember that. Don't ever lose sight of what motivated you to come here. And that's how you stay focused. So no matter how tiring it got, no matter how sad I was, how depressed I was, no matter how the job wasn't up to my, education or my skills, I always move forward remembering what my goal was. And that was to establish myself here. ASAP. AP. So just remember that when you come, you do that preparation beforehand. You read up on the culture. Watching this video is part of it. Watch as many videos as you can. Don't just go through the process of immigration. Go through the process of immigration, but keep your mental health in mind. Do the strategic homework before you even land here so that the stress when you get here is less and acceptable and manageable by your standards. The better prepared you are, the better you'll be able to handle life here. The better it is for your own mental health and for your family because they'll be able to get the best of you. Isn't that worth it to do the preparation ahead of time? Um, Read up on the culture, read up on what's going on, read up on immigration and mental health and what has been done. There's some really great research out there now about immigrants and mental health. Read up on that, see how it affects people, see what affects people the most, and prepare yourself accordingly. And finally, when you culturally integrate and you're maybe putting yourself through school or you're applying to jobs, even job search has its own culture. Corporate culture has its own culture. You need to learn that. You need to adopt that. You can't bring what you had back home and accept to shine here. The quicker you accept that, the faster you're going to be able to do what you love at a pay level that's satisfactory to you. And it'll be the life that you've always dreamed of, the life that you're working on. I have no doubt that the immigrants who come here are so tough. They're so spirited because it's one of the hardest things we've ever done. Immigration. It's so hard. You have to change so much of your life, so much of yourself, and the growth, the learning, it's continuous. And it goes on for years, decades. I don't mean that in a tiring way, because it's also the best thing I've ever done. It's the best decision I've ever done. I fought for my own freedom. I built my own life here. How rewarding is that? How liberating is that? You get to do that too, right? You get to choose your life, build your life your way, and nobody else has a say, right? So remember, the reward is out there. But as you come here, please look after your mental health. Do the prep before you come. Set your expectations. And when you get here, sponge the information. Learn, adapt, adopt, integrate, apply, and you'll be fine. I will make more videos on immigration, but for this one, please, if you're an immigrant who's watching this, please leave a comment. Let me know what your journey is like. Let me know what your struggle is like. I would love to hear from you. Please click the subscribe button to get more videos and click on the alarm so that you get notifications about when I post a video. It'll be on mental health, it'll be on immigration and mental health, it might be on traveling and mental health, but either way, I want to talk to you. I want to get to know you and see what you've been through. So, until next time, love, peace, respect. Namaste.